In this video, we're going to be talking about another tool for your toolkit, another knife in your belt, value rules. Value rules were dropped just about a month and a half ago, and they are seemingly increasing the usability of value rules. And it's something that we've been exploring more and more. I'm not going to pretend that this is something that we have 100% figured out because I honestly don't think anyone has at this point. Anyone that's figured it out with a month and a half of data is maybe lying. So I'm going to keep it real with everyone. I'm going to show you how value rules apply, how you could test them, how you can, and why you should be using value rules. So I went through a bunch of breakdowns previously, and a bunch of those breakdowns were like age breakdowns, gender breakdowns, platform, placement, landing page. All of those can be adjusted via value rules, which I will show you right now. So basically, when you go into your advertiser settings, you're going to see up here at the top value rules. So you can click value rules and click create a new rule set, understand, and you're going to have the option as of today, August 19th, of age, gender, mobile operating system, location, and placement. We're just going to use age for this example. And what we're able to do is we're able to bid up or bid down in value rules. I will explain how this works in detail. I just want to show you the quickest way that you can get this set up. So let's say our account, based on our data, not just because we feel like it, based on our data, we know that 65 plus is not an audience for us. We are then going to decrease the bid on the age 65 plus by a certain threshold. I would generally never recommend anything higher than 25% at first. If you want, if you're like 100% like I cannot bid on 65 plus, then go ahead and just continue to drop it down. It's actually interesting. Facebook recommends right off the bat go higher than 50. I've seen 25% or greater be pretty significant. So you could increase or decrease. In almost all cases, this is an elimination game, not an increasing game. Now, technically, value rules are meant to be an LTV play. Technically, value rules are meant to be set up so that if you know a specific age or a specific gender or one of these placements based on your data on your backend drives higher lifetime value, you could then tell Facebook, hey, age 65 plus are actually better than they seem because they come back over and over and over again, and therefore we want to increase our bids on them. However, I'm using this much more tactically, and I'm using this to eliminate certain placements or reduce certain ages or genders and whatnot. So basically, if you find in your breakdowns, which we've already went through, that a certain age is worse and high spending, we need to now tell Facebook, instead of valuing that dollar one-to-one, we're going to value that dollar less. For example, basically what happens here, we'll go to a Google Sheet for this. Basically what happens here is if you have a negative 25% value rule in place, and you are currently driving a revenue total from a 65 plus age group of $10,000, just to keep this really simple. So you drove $10,000 in revenue from this. Facebook views all $10,000 as revenue, right? They see that and they say, this campaign drove $10,000. What the value rule does is it says, let's actually not count this, and we're going to take off 2,500 against the revenue, which means our actual total here is going to be 7,500. So instead of, let's just pretend you spent, let's put spend here, you spent a total of $5,000 to drive $10,000 in revenue on your 65 plus. The value rule will put a minus 25%, aka minus 2,500, means your value rule revenue is now 7,500. And that means by Facebook standards that your return on ad spend here would now be 7,500 divided by 5,000, which is 1.5, instead of, this is really value rule ROAS, instead of your actual ROAS, which is how much you actually drove, would be revenue divided by spend here of 2. So you can see it's perceiving a 25% worse result, which means the next time it goes to try to achieve a result against a 65 plus person, anyone older than 65 plus, it is automatically going to assume it's doing 25% worse. So 65 plus in Facebook eyes needs to be 25% hold points better than all the other age groups for it to be worth it to spend on it. It's one of the easiest, quickest ways to decrease expenditure on any age group, gender, etc. Now, once you set up your value rule, so if you go and you click next and you actually create this value rule here, I'm not going to, but when you go and click create and click create there, in your campaigns, you can go to any of your maximize conversion campaigns and you go to your ad sets. And in the ad set, you're going to see a section on value rules. Instead of create a rule set, which you could literally do right here as we were just doing, you could just select your value rule and apply it to this campaign, which means you're not going to need to go to your interest targeting and make a bunch of adjustments to your age or your gender or exclusions or targeting or reset anything. You're just directly impacting the back end via value rules, which I think is a tremendously important insight for everyone to follow. Cool. That's how value rules work. Be very careful with them if you were to apply them, and don't apply them just because you have a little 5 or 10% change. You're not trying to be small on these changes. You're trying to get big sweeping things out of your account.